Julius Mbatia. I work with PowerShift Africa, which is an African think tank on climate and policy, but at the same time represent African civil society organizations in the Green Climate Fund as an alternate active observer. It's startling that within a reality of a climate crisis, Africa remains the most affected continent, but the least contributor to the climate problem and the least informed. With these realities then, we get to want to understand the technicalities around the climate process, which we actually need to engage with to be able to make decisions that are rightful within this moment where we need to shift the discourse from the hallways and take it to the streets, and from the streets and take it to the rural communities, the peri-urban areas, and have every citizen who has the right to understand what's happening, who needs to know and act on the climate problem, being able to actually interact with solutions that can transform their lives. So within a window which is 10 years, which is closing in so fast, the reality is that we have no more time left. And the 1.5 degree warming goal that we have within the Paris Agreement can no longer remain one within just an agreement, but one which we pursue persistently as a global community. And as such, therefore, we want to hail the efforts by Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance within the ACCER Awards to actually socialize the climate problem, to talk about what kind of solutions we need within a changing context. While we are within a dual crisis, a climate crisis, a pandemic, but also within the developing world, a debt crisis that is looming and will honestly get to overtake our economic growth, then we have to talk about what is it that matters for the common wananchi, as we say in Kenya, for instance. And this is just the African citizen, the common citizen of the continent. How do we get then to allow them have a level playground that enables them engage with policymakers, seek concrete solutions to the climate problem, but also look at the aspirations within a changing climate? Can they continue farming? Can they continue practicing pastoralism within the implications of drought that carries away their livestock and cattle? Just to mention, we need to think about also solutions that allow the citizen be at a point where they can be able to think of acting in time and not being closed in within disasters that are climate induced. So the reality of the matter is this, that communications and media within the continent has to change. We need to shift from the point of only allowing the international community elevate the climate crisis for us and allowing our journalists to live the story that African people go through. We need to have lived experiences shared within the continent. We need to have the continent and the journalists of the continent taking lead in talking about the solutions that would actually be able to change the lives of Africans in a changing climate. And as such, the ACCER Awards is one of the interesting initiatives that PACJA always does and always has been practicing over the years. And the interesting part of it is that journalist capacity is being built. And beyond building capacities, we want to look at how they can actually change this capacity into tapping into the immense world of stories. And this is how we are going to hammer the challenge. This is how we are going to change and shift the discourse from it being in the hallways into the streets and allowing everybody in this continent the level space to actually speak into their future and talk about building resilience and giving them that opportunity to make decisions around how we want to enhance our continent and around how communities need to live within the climate crisis reality. Those on the front line need to be heard, and only journalism can actually bridge that gap, providing them the access to policymakers, but also allowing them to challenge governance into shifting how policy is formulated, but also how development is conducted to address the real-time problem of this generation. Thank you.